This episode of Between Two Burns is brought to you by The Pipe and Pint. Indulge in the finer things in life with our premium selection of cigars, wine, and pipe tobacco. Visit us at any of our brick-and-mortar locations or shop online at thepipeandpint.net. Mix and match 20 cigars for 10% off and enjoy free shipping on all orders over $150. From Rocky Patel to Drew Estate, we carry all your favorite brands. Must be 21 or older to purchase. The Pipe and Pint, elevating your relaxation experience. Now, enjoy the show.
Ethan, we're finally doing it, buddy.
It's here. Hey, I got a question for you. Have you ever been under the bright lights before?
This is my first time under the bright lights.
It's an honor to
listen,
do it with you.
Pressure makes diamonds.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
All right, so we're doing it. Between Two Burns, our podcast here. We've been talking about it for over a year now, trying to make it happen. We're finally shaking the nerves, got our setup here in the Pipe and Pint Lounge. We're ready to go.
It's looking good in here.
Yeah,
it
looks
I'm
great.
excited. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I am excited. I am nervous.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
You're handling it better than me, but we're good. We're good. Obviously, this is our first episode, doing a little introduction episode to all of our Pipe and Pint family, Pipe and Pint friends, and hopefully some new customers and new listeners out there. You know, this is something we wanted to do. We wanted to be able to bring, cigar content, some realtor, retail perspective to type of things, you know, life behind the screen, as you will, a little bit from the lounge life and everything like that. So I'm excited to do it. We're going to be bringing everything from cigar reviews to happenings in the shop, new products. Hopefully we got some special guests coming, everything like that. So I'm excited. What do you think?
Yeah, it's going to be good. We got some tricks up our sleeves, if you will. We're going to be doing some fun stuff on here. It's not just always going to be about cigars. Obviously, cigars are a lifestyle to us and to a lot of other people. So we're going to be talking about everything that goes with cigars, everything from beer, which, you know, any cup can be a beer cup, even if it looks like a coffee cup. So we're going to be drinking some beer, bourbon, wine, you know, talking all sorts of things and just life in general because, you know, cigars are a part of life. So that's what we're trying to do. Yeah,
it's been great. We've talked about it for a while. We want to introduce people to some of our partners in the game, if you will. Like you said, we're drinking beer from our friends at Brown Truck here in High Point, North Carolina. Ian's our guy. They're a great brewery. This is American Light Lager. Fantastic beer. Just had it at our golf tournament.
Yeah.
Obviously went as fast as any beer on the
as
beverage
it should.
cart.
A gold medal beer in the 2016 Great American Beer Festival, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they're getting medals all the time. So
they hang up those red overalls in the brewery, you know.
Yeah, he's got them in the tap room, right?
Yeah, someone stole one the other day.
No, did they really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What are you gonna do with a pair of overalls? I guess wear them. I mean, they're pretty bright red, so I guess if you're gonna wear them,
like where's Waldo?
And we were just talking about. We just had our golf tournament.
Yep.
Fantastic. You know, we have it sort of annually. We skipped it last year because we had our 25th anniversary party, which is obviously a big turnout, but 100 players like we always do, sell it out in a week. Had a great time. Bryant Park Golf Course.
Yeah, it was a great time. Little rain, not a big deal though.
No.
Raised a lot of money for charity.
Raised a lot of money for charity.
Favorite charities, our favorite charities.
Yep.
So it was really good. You know, I had a bunch of customers coming today tell me how much fun they had, which is good to hear. You know, we smoked a lot of cigars, drank some beer ourselves, and
that's right.
Missed a few putts for some people.
That's right. That's right.
But made a few too.
And like you said, we raised a bunch of money for charity, which is a great thing to do. Great raffle. We gave away some bourbon, gave away some golf clubs, the whole 9 yards. So it was a great time. And that leads me into something else, a bit of a topic here for today is the relationship of golf and cigars, right? They go really well together. You know, they kind of almost hand in hand. It's hard to find a cigar smoker who doesn't play golf or a golfer who doesn't at least occasionally smoke a cigar while they're playing golf. So, you know, it's one of those things that over the years we've seen professional golfers, golfers after winning big tournaments. We see the guys smoking cigars after Ryder Cups and everything like that. What I did want to get into first, though, is let's get a cigar of our own.
Yeah.
So what are we smoking today?
Yeah, so today we're smoking the new Wise Man Corojo from Foundation Cigars. We have a great relationship with Foundation. We have an event coming up with Foundation here in October on the 19th here at the Greensboro store. This cigar is interesting, though, because up until earlier this year, it was known as El Wawanse, or Guganese, as we used to call it here, because we couldn't pronounce it. But this cigar has a history because it used to be made with Aganorsa, who we're also great friends with. It was a Corojo wrapper with Nicaraguan binders and fillers, and then the Maduro version was called the Wise Man Maduro with a Maduro wrapper, Nicaraguan binder, and filler. But earlier this year, it came out that Aganorsa was no longer going to be producing this cigar, and it came out of the blue.
Yeah,
I remember sending you. I sent you the article that Cigar Aficionado posted that day that Foundation was moving production from Aganorsa to my father. And for those of you who don't know, Aganorsa and my father don't really get along very well.
Super copacetic, you know.
Yeah. They have a history. Maybe we'll get into that one day on the podcast. We can kind of tell that story.
Yeah, that's a
whole nother episode.
That's a whole
an
hour and a half long episode of its own. Yeah.
But because of things that have happened in the past, it was a shock to us and a lot of other people that Nick was going to be leaving Aganorsa and going to my father. But we were excited to see what was going to come out. And what came out isn't a better cigar. I like the old one just as much, but it's different.
It's definitely different.
I think it's more approachable for the average consumer.
Yeah.
The other one was it had a lot of pepper to it. It was really strong up front. Aganorsa is known for using some stronger tobacco, and sometimes that turns people off. So this cigar, it's a Corojo wrapper, albeit a different Corojo wrapper than what was on the other one. Obviously, Nicaraguan binders and fillers, but they're coming from my father's fields instead of Aganorsa's. It is a wonderful cigar, and we're going to be talking about it a little bit through the episode and whatnot. I know myself, I like more medium to full-bodied cigars. I like a mild cigar on occasion, but I know, Jason, you like something a little bit more mild.
Yep.
And the nice thing about this cigar is it's a perfect fit for everybody. It's not too strong, but it's not too mild.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I love about it.
And I will say, we've obviously smoked this a handful of times. It's been out for, 4 or 5 months since we've got it? Longer than that?
It may have been longer than that.
Longer than that. Yeah. It didn't strike me maybe as much at first, but the more I've smoked it, and then we do have, locked up in our special room, as people like to call it, the vault, is like people call it. We have some of the original Aganorsa stuff still left that we're kind of hanging on to for special occasions later. But I will say that it did strike me at first, but the more I've smoked it, they are distinctively each other. So the Aganorsa one, when you revisit it, is very much Aganorsa. And this one, while maybe not as much My Father as some of the core line My Father stuff, it does give off the My Father vibe, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. And honestly, I think this harkens more to Tatuaje, the Escasos line, the Veracruz Blue line, using Corojo wrapper leaves, maybe different fermentations on them, obviously different blends, but they've made cigars like this in the past, is my point. And they do a great job with it. It's definitely a slight departure from that My Father spice that people have come to know. Usually when you light up a Le Bijou or a Jaime Garcia, you get a big blast of pepper up front, DPG original. There's not so much of that pepper, but it has that signature My Father almost nuttiness. You can tell it's great tobacco in it. They did a great job with it. So, we'll be talking about it throughout the episode. If there's any changes in the cigar or anything like that. One other thing I do want to say real quick, though, is price point. For the money, great cigar.
Oh, yeah.
They retail for, I believe, somewhere between $10 to $13. And, it's a great cigar for that money.
Oh, yeah, certainly given, the current price trends of cigars, it falls into a dang near a value cigar at that point.
That's another episode, my friend.
That's a whole other episode on the pricing of cigars right now. Now, we were just talking about it. Would this be a golf course cigar for you?
No, not for me. But I'm a cigar nerd, as you know, and a lot of people know. And so when I'm out on the golf course, I want to smoke a cigar, but I don't want to smoke a cigar that I really want to pay attention to, kind of dissect the flavors of and whatnot.
That's right.
So I'm looking for something else. How about you?
So the way I handle it is, you'll have some guys that they'll take a very specific amount. Let's say 3, 4. I always take the full, Zycar case.
That's your go-to?
The 15 count, and I'll stuff, 10, 11, 12 cigars in there, and meant to share it with whoever we're playing with. A lot of the guys I play golf with, some are occasional cigar smokers, some are the only time they ever smoke a cigar is when they play golf with me, It's a variety of things that I'm okay for others to smoke if they run it over with the golf cart on the 3rd hole.
It's a good approach to take.
Correct, right.
It's a good approach.
But when it comes to me personally, and I'm historically a fast smoker. So on the golf course, 18 holes, I'll probably go through 3 cigars. It'll be one that I'll start right in the first hole. We'll probably make it to the 7th or 8th hole, and then I'll get something else out. And that inevitably goes 3 or 4 holes, and I set it down in the cart, I drop out of it, and I run it over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it's right back in the box for something else. And then depending on, so I like something that I'm okay with that happening, right? Something I like, obviously, but something that if I do inevitably run it over, it's not a big deal. I'm not running over a Padron Anniversary, a Fuentes Legends or something like that.
That'd be bad news
where it's going
bears.
to cost me the price of the round. I just ran it over in the 16th fairway or whatever.
Yeah, we've got a good friend. I won't say his name, but you'll know who it is. That man smokes Opus X on the golf course,
Crazy.
and I don't understand it.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it just because I am prone to that. Listen, I'm gonna run over the cigar. I'm gonna drop it in a fairway and have to run back and pick it up. I'm going to leave my cutter in the cup holder and have to drive back for it. I'm going to leave a lighter in the basket.
Yeah.
So I got to be okay with losing it, but enjoy it.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of us out there. But then we're talking, you get done and you're hanging out the 19th hole. Then we're talking something better. Then we can break out the Opus or the Padron Anniversary or something limited, the Wise Man, something that you're going to enjoy with the beer, bourbon, whatever you're having afterwards. Because it's just inevitable that you're going to take expensive cigars out there on the golf course. Yeah. You're going to break it. A buddy's going to beg you for it. Like, oh, what you got? What's good? What's smooth, man? What's smooth?
That's
what's
exactly
super smooth? And you'd be like, yeah, this is super smooth. You know what I mean? And we kind of cater to that customer. We have our par for the course bundles, right? That super good price point.
Yep.
Great cigar.
Yep.
Our band on it. And actually the par for course is unbanded.
Yeah.
But given the price you pay for the bundle, you don't feel so bad if you drop a few in the
absolutely. Our number one selling golf course cigars, the Perdomo Fresco. They're great value, great price, great length. So that's one thing that I look for. I typically am a Corona Robusto Toro cigar smoker, but when I'm on the golf course and I know I'm going to be smoking a while, I got to have a Churchill.
Oh, you do? So you do change the size even when you go to the golf course?
I have to have a Churchill.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but the funny thing, the quirk, if you will, that I have when it comes to smoking on the golf course is I know a lot of people who take their cigar and they'll throw it down on the grass while they're teeing off. I can't do it.
Guilty.
I can't do it.
I do it all the time.
I can't do it.
I do it all the time.
I don't know why. It's a mental thing. Like, I'm worried I'm going to get dirt in it. And it's like, the cart's disgusting, but I'm still laying it on the cart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a mental block I can't get over.
You're talking to a guy who consistently eats food he drops on the floor, so putting the cigar on the tee box. Now, there are occasions where you're out there in the morning, the dew's still on the golf course, you put it down, and then you pick it up, and there's, a half a pound of fertilizer on it. Then you got to dust it off a little bit. You know what I mean?
Maybe it'll give you superpowers. You
your nitrates might be a little high or something like that, but you got to do it. I'll tell a quick story. I won't name the golf course because I don't want to incriminate myself. But I was playing golf with three people one I play golf with all the time. And we were coming up what used to be their 13th hole. We were smoking cigars. I was riding the passenger seat. And just out of habit and not paying attention, I took the cigar and threw it out to my right as we're driving up the hill, not even thinking about it. And then we're getting ready. We're walking up to the green. Everybody's got their putter, and you're going to the green. And I look back, and it's just billowing smoke. billowing smoke. And I just inherently threw the thing right in the middle of a brand new, fresh pile of pine straw. And that sucker was going up in flames. And I had to run back. I'm stomping on it.
You're wasting good beer dumping on it, I'm sure.
I ran. I mean, this is not the place you wanted to burn down, certainly. And it was, now that's the second time I've done it. I did it at my own home one time too, throwing it into pine straw. So number one thing on the golf course, watch out for brush, dispose of your cigars properly.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. That's my number one pet peeve on a golf course for other people that smoke cigars.
Yes.
Dispose of your cigars properly. I get it. You're on the golf course. You've paid money to be there, but these people aren't paid to pick up
Agreed.
your cigar butts.
Yeah,
Same thing with cigarette butts or anything like that. If you need to get one of those traveling ash cans for the golf cart, do it.
Yeah, those are great.
By God, make sure it's out before you throw it in a trash can. But just throw it in the trash can. Don't take your band off and throw it off in the pond. The fish don't like that. We don't need that in the fish life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you drop some ash on the green. Snap it off with your towel, brush it off there, you're good to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
The same applies to me with cutters and lighters too. Yeah. Cheaper. As long as it cuts the cigar and lights the cigar, I'm good with it on the golf course because I've lost too many expensive branded lighters, no free ads, but, branded lighters, cutters that were bought for me as gifts, very nice things. And then you see the person 6 months later, like, oh, you still enjoying that cutter? And of course you lie. You say, yeah, but I didn't bring it here. But you left it in the golf cart and somebody else has it. And if it's a nice one, they'll return the $4 lighter. Yep. They'll return to the pro shop the $3 cutter.
Yep.
They're not bringing your DuPont back to you, man.
They're not. It's game over.
If other golfer doesn't already find to go home with it, God love them. The cart kid's taking it as a tip. And
they ain't smoking cigars with it.
No, that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, no, that's true. As a retailer, the number one best golf customer is the guy that leaves his expensive cutter and lighter in the cart because then he comes back and buys another one. So if you want to keep spending your more money here,
from a retail perspective,
we appreciate
if you got to come back to get a new one,
But as a cigar guy, don't be that guy.
Yeah. Now, when you come back in and you tell us you left it in the golf cart, we're not going to deter you from buying something expensive, but we may say, why don't you pick up a second one?
Yeah.
And maybe just that you stick in your golf bag. You're going to find a golf tournament you participate. We gave everybody a cutter for the golf tournament this year in their gift bag.
Yeah.
You can lose that one.
I'm a fan of the designated golf bag, cigar, cutter, and lighter.
Yeah.
Just make sure you fill up the lighter beforehand. There ain't no butane out on the golf course, but you got to have it.
So I have 2 cutters and probably 5 lighters in my golf bag right now.
Yeah.
Just because I stuff it in there. And there's not an ounce of fuel in any of the lighters. There's not. You couldn't click it to just get it going. There is not a drop in there.
That's tough. Wait, here's a off the wall question for you. Does smoking cigars make your golf game better?
If smoking cigars made your golf game better, everybody on the planet would smoke cigars.
Yeah, I agree with you. I will be the guy that argues it makes it worse.
Well, I think all right, so it's like alcohol, right? There's a fine line with anything where alcohol makes us superhuman to a point.
Yeah.
And then it's a drastic drop off.
That's exactly right. Right. And I guess I need to recant that a little bit because I think it depends on the kind of cigar smoker you are, right?
Yeah.
Like, I, again, go back to the fact, like, I'll be honest with you, I bring a cigar or 2 to the golf course, but I only want 1 or 2. I don't smoke the whole time I'm golfing.
Okay.
Because I don't just smoke cigars to be smoking a cigar. I'm not looking for the habit or the nicotine or the ritual of it or anything. I like cigars for the flavor. Yeah. And that is the last thing on my mind when I'm playing golf. You know what I mean? So usually when I'm out there, I don't mind spending a little bit more money on cigars. Our cigar, the El Rey de la Habano by my father, that's one of my favorite golf course cigars. It's not strong. Don't want a strong cigar on the golf course. Don't need to be yakking on hole number 9 from smoking a cigar that's too strong.
No, and that goes for the fact that any of your buddies who you go out with who don't smoke cigars.
Yeah.
You got to steer. I mean, unless you're obviously playing them in a match, you need to steer them away from yakking on the fourth hole, which I've seen, because guys who don't smoke cigars, but then insist on smoking cigars on the golf course, smoke cigars like it's a cigarette. And,
absolutely.
And they are just dragging that thing.
Chiefing it.
Just going hard, man. And to the point that it's just going to be...
It's going to be bad news bears.
An absolute disaster.
Yeah, absolutely.
An absolute disaster.
Absolutely. But yeah, so I like, the El Rey de los Habanos is one of my favorites, more readily available. I really like Perdomo's Churchills because they're a little bit bigger ring gauges. The one thing that I look for in a cigar, though, is I don't like something with a thin wrapper leaf. So something Connecticut or Dominican, those cigars just by nature have a thinner wrapper leaf, and when you're banging up your cigars as much as we're talking about, throwing them on the grass, putting them in the cart, dropping them, whatever, that wrapper leaf's going to pop. And if it pops and your cigar starts coming unraveled, then so is your golf game.
Well, that thing to remember is you're riding around on the golf cart the whole time.
Yep.
So... most of us on a beautiful day, you got the windshield down, but you're smoking a cigar at the same time, and you're just blowing air all over the cigar. It's getting hot, it's burning hot, it's burning fast, and that thinner wrapper leaf will have a tendency. I mean, we've both smoked a lot of cigars, obviously, and on the golf course. I haven't had an on-the-course cigar because of those factors where you're just like, oh my God, this is the best thing I've had. This is amazing. Just because the conditions don't allow for it, right? You're throwing it down, you're relighting it all the time. But that's golf, right? That's part of the enjoyment of it. I feel better when I'm playing golf with a cigar. Now, I rarely don't ever play golf without having a cigar. Yeah. But it's the stress. It's a lot of the reason a lot of people smoke cigars to begin with. It's the stress relief of it. There's something about, playing a round of golf in the middle of the week. You're sort of trying not to look at your phone and do work or whatever, but you're on the first tee, you light up a cigar, you take the first couple off of it, and you take a nice deep breath, and you're like, all right, you know.
Yeah. No, I get that.
And then you pipe the first drive out of bounds, and then it's fucking after that.
After that, it doesn't matter
then you might as well see how many you got in there, because then it's screwed from the day one.
That's exactly right. Like you said, when it comes to golf and cigars, they go hand in hand, obviously. If I was recommending, as a tobacconist, right, putting the tobacconist hat on, if I'm recommending a cigar to someone, there's no perfect fit, right?
No.
But you want something usually that's going to be a little bit longer. You want something that will hold up a little bit better. And you want something that's going to be a little bit more mild than what you normally do, right?
Yeah.
I think those are the big three criteria, taking out of consideration the cutter and the lighter and all that other kind of stuff. That's separate. But when we're just talking about cigars and what you're looking for in a cigar, that's what I would recommend you look for. Mm-hmm. And there's plenty of recommendations out there. And like I said, we talk about it all the time. Cigars are subjective. And our goal is to put you or the consumer in the right cigar. So those three guidelines are what I use when someone comes in and asks me, hey, what do you recommend for a good golf course cigar? Don't spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
Get you something that's going to last.
Yep.
Get you something a little bit more mild, because at the end of the day, something's probably going to happen to it, and you don't want to be throwing away a $20 cigar on the golf course. Yeah.
But to be fair, if smoking a rare Cuban or an Opus or a $200 Fuentes Legend, something like that, makes you happy on the golf course?
Oh, by all means.
Smoke it.
By all means. At the end of the day, it's your money.
Yeah.
And, you can do whatever you want to with
that's right.
right?
And it's your enjoyment of it. So if that's where it gets you there, then you got to do it.
Yeah, and I mean, very well, I am not as much of an avid golfer as what you are, as you very well know from the last time we played golf together. But, it is something that's fun to do. It's enjoyable. And I think it's something that does ultimately just enhance the experience.
Yeah.
If you've never tried it before, you know what I mean? Like if you're a cigar guy and you like golf, and for whatever reason under the sun you've never smoked a cigar while you're golfing, you got to do it.
Oh,
Like, it's a rite
it's
of
a
passage.
rite of passage.
Yeah,
certainly.
absolutely.
Yeah, you've got to go through the process.
Yeah.
you gotta experience dropping it, running it over.
You got to throw it down in the fertilizer and
You
smoke it.
got
After.
to
It may
smoke
make a
the
game
fertilizer.
better.
You may pick up some notes that
Yeah.
it may be saltier than you remember.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But how's that wise man so far?
It's good. You know, one thing, a little tobacco in my mouth. One thing that I really like about this cigar is the creaminess that it has. It's got a subtle sweetness, almost like a sweet creamer. Not to get too technical or anything like that. But it's really nice. There is some fruitiness, like stone fruit on the palate. On the retro hill, it's really nice because there's not a lot of pepper. There's some floral notes. There's a little bit of cream and citrus. There's a touch of black pepper, but it's really good. And I'm about halfway through it now. I will say one thing about this cigar. It doesn't change a lot, and that's not a bad thing.
No, it does stay pretty.
Yeah, it's
pretty well through.
I wouldn't call it one-dimensional necessarily, but you know, there's not a lot of change happening throughout it.
Yeah.
But the notes that you get are really good, and I still would call it fairly complex. You're not just getting cream, right?
Yeah.
It's not just kind of sweet or anything like that. There's other things with it.
Certainly, but if you see the My Father angle to it, and you're a My Father fan, I think you will enjoy it. But if you're looking for the full My Father experience, I don't think you're going to get it out of this.
Not the Corojo. Out of the Maduro, though,
Okay.
I think that there is something there, right? I consider the Maduro to be a little bit more medium full. It's using a Mexican San Andreas wrapper, if I'm not mistaken, on it. So you're going to get more of those earthy, leathery, black pepper, dark chocolate, espresso notes out of it. So if you're someone that likes Le Bijou, Jaime Garcia, La Palencia, those darker My Father cigars, smoke the Wise Man Maduro because it's still being made by My Father, and it's going to have the little bit of extra oomph that you're looking for. But if you're someone that likes My Father Connecticut, Flor de las Antillas, La Promesa, those cigars, this is right in your wheelhouse. Yeah. I mean, it's going to have a different flavor profile from what those do. It's a nice change of pace, but from a strength level and everything, it's got what you're looking for.
Yeah, it's excellent. And if you're a Pipe and Pint customer, you're somebody listening to this and you're interested, you can obviously find these on our website, pipeandpint.net, thepipeandpint.net, I should say. And October 19th, we're having Eduardo from Foundation Cigars in. We're doing an event with them, doing a tailgate party here.
Yeah.
Going to break out our new mobile cigar experience trailer, get the football games going, doing a cookout. So, you know, a lot of these cigars, amongst the other things that they do, will be on display, doing some deals on them and everything like
deals. Eduardo told me that there's going to be a 5th anniversary El Wawance old box humidor, the treasure chest humidor. We're going to be raffling that off. That is no longer being made. He's going to have some event-only cigars with him. It's going to be a good day for local Greensboro folks that might be listening. It's A&T's homecoming that weekend, so it's going to be football-centric already. Yep. Come out, tailgate with us, party with us. It's going to be a great time.
When somebody's coming in and they're talking to you in the humidor, and you get a vibe from them, and you're in the Foundation cigar realm, right? You're in that section of the humidor. What do you tell them about Foundation cigars?
So, for those of you who don't know, and the same thing I would tell customers, Nick Malillo is like you can't even use the word up and comer anymore.
Not
right?
anymore. No,
not anymore. He was the master blender at Drew Estate. He had access to all of the best tobaccos that Drew Estate purchased from all of different places and whatnot. And when Drew Estate sold the Swisher Sweet, Nick decided that it was time to leave and go start his own company. And he started Foundation Cigars. And actually, the original cigar he came out with was the original El Wawance.
Yeah.
Since then, he has gone and started working with AJ Fernandez. So the Wise Man is actually the only cigar that I can think of off the top of my head outside of Upsetters that is not made by AJ Fernandez. So he loves Nicaragua. His nickname is Nick R. Ragua.
That's right.
You know, he is the king of Nicaragua right now, in my opinion. He's going to be around for a long time. He is a wonderful blender. He had a lot to do with some of the original Liga Privada and other lines that Drew Estate is now very famous for. Tabernacle is a great example of what he did with his experience at Drew Estate. The Tabernacle Maduro is his version of the Liga Privada No. 9, and the HC 142 is his version of the Liga Privada T52. So those cigars are wonderful because they're priced less expensively than what the Liga Privada is, and you're getting the same quality, craftsmanship, and most importantly, blending from the guy that did it the first time, right? And that's not knocking Drew Estate at all. We love Drew Estate. We saw a lot of Drew Estate, but he was able to learn a lot at Drew Estate, meet a lot of people, which in my opinion is the most important thing, make the connections to go start his own company. And now, I mean, he has access to the best tobaccos that AJ has. From the way I understand it, he had some access to some of the best tobaccos that my father has, and they have a cigar for everybody. That's one of the most important things I tell people.
Yeah, they're the way they have set their portfolio. They've got everything from entry level at the Charter Oak stage, which we call it entry level from a price point. It's certainly not an entry level cigar in the sense that it's not some short filler, bundled up type of cigar. It is a premium quality cigar. It just happens to come in at a price that's fantastic for new smokers or box buying cigar smokers.
Yeah, I mean, I would pay $10 for the Charter Oak Habano.
Oh yeah, sure.
I mean, it's fantastic. It's made at the AJ factory, the same place all of other cigars are made, which is great. And he's continuing to innovate, and I appreciate that. Some cigar companies out there, in my opinion, when they put out a new cigar, it tastes the exact same thing. It tastes the exact same way as another cigar they already had, right?
Yeah, that's right.
In my opinion, the foundation portfolio, everything is different, right? Like the Tabernacles don't taste like Olmec, don't taste like Axum, don't taste like Charter Oak, don't taste like Highclere Castle. And I appreciate that because not every cigar is for everybody, right? You may not like Connecticut Broadleaf, but you may really like San Andreas. So I'm not going to recommend you the Tabernacle, but I can still recommend you the Olmec.
Yeah.
You may not like something really full-bodied, no problem. They've got the Axum. They've got the Highclere Castle, Connecticut. They have the Charter Oak, Connecticut. Or like you said, you may not want to spend a lot of money, but you still want a really good cigar. You don't have to smoke a mixed filler or short filler Cuban sandwich. You can go smoke Charter Oak, a premium long filler cigar, for $6 to $7, and that is hard to find these days.
Yeah, and like you said, that could be an episode of its own. But we've seen, from the retail perspective, and the consumer has seen it as well. And it's let's be honest, it's not too different from anything in the world that you're purchasing right now. That prices have risen up.
No, it's not exclusive just to us.
No, certainly not. But when you were used to paying $7 to $10, that's now $11 to $13 in reality. Yeah. All right, I got a game for you.
Oh boy.
Obviously, we know we just went through it. You know very much your cigars. You're our cigar guy. All right. So we're going to play America's fastest growing game. Name that cigar.
Oh boy.
Name that cigar.
For the audience out there, just so you know, I had no idea what we were doing or what this is. So I'm going into this blind.
Completely blind. We're going to test your knowledge. You can see a blank piece of paper.
Yep.
So I've got a cigar. The caveat is it's in our humidor. We sell this cigar, and I'm going to give you a series of hints. Okay. I'll let you ponder on it, however you want to do it. Obviously,
can I phone a friend?
You cannot phone a friend. There's no $1 million on the line or anything like that. You get no process of elimination.
All
okay. Right. And the quicker you get it, now there are some clues on here that will certainly give it away.
Okay.
Towards the end, so you will get this, I do believe. Okay. If not, then we actually may have to rethink your employment here.
No longer the cigar guy.
All right. So, like I said, it's in our humidor. Nicaraguan binder and filler. Nicaraguan sun-grown wrapper. That's your first two hints. Obviously,
That does not narrow it down very much.
It's medium full.
Okay.
Okay. 5 sizes. Bellicoso, Robusto, Toro, Toro Gordo, Toro Grande. Also comes in a Maduro.
All Nicaraguan. Sun-grown wrapper. Comes in a Maduro.
Here,
I'm going through my list here.
I'm gonna read you a redacted summary from the guys at Half Wheel on the review of this when it first came out.
Okay.
This is for the Toro version of it.
Okay.
Okay. And again, I've got to redact a few things and not give it away. It reveals exactly what it is, a simple, no frills option, both in terms of price and profile. It is good, smooth profile, but far from great. While I was not overly impressed with this cigar, I do think that it fills a niche that this company has in its lineup. An easy to smoke, medium bodied, cheaper cigar that does not have the typical blank throughout the smoke. The main problem remains, even at the price point, there are many other cigars that offer more in terms of complexity, flavors, and construction. Overall score, 82.
Ooh, I didn't like that very much.
Now, I'm not calling the guys out of Half Wheeler here, but Cigar Aficionado, 96 point rated.
Oh, okay. All right.
Now we're going to get to some stuff that I think will give it away.
Yeah, so I'm going. So anytime we do this, just so what people know is going through my head, I know our humidor very well and know how it's set up. So I'm going company by company in my mind, trying to figure out. Obviously, not anything Dominican, right?
Yep.
There's no Honduran in it or anything like that. So I'm going through and checking things off that it's not. Sometimes it jumps out a little bit quicker than it has now. The manufacturer would be the one that really gives it away, but hold off on that. I'm still thinking
the manufacturer will. There's 2 things on here that will 100% give it away.
Yeah.
Okay. So that review was on the Toro. Our current price on Robusto of this cigar is $8.95.
That narrows it down.
Yep.
Big time.
Here comes the softball.
All right.
Soft box press.
Soft box press. I don't know if that's as much of a softball as you think it is.
I think of it as a soft box press. I think a lot of people do, and it's certainly not as box press as some are, in my opinion.
Well, it's certainly not Padron.
It's not Padron.
And that's what comes to mind immediately when I think soft box press. Other box press cigars, it's not Plasencia. Plasencia doesn't have that price point.
Comes in a 20-count box.
It's not Flor de las Antillas, I don't think.
Well, here is the last clue that'll give away. It was 2012 Cigar of the Year.
Oh, my God. They gave Flor de las Antillas an 82?
They did give it an 82.
That wasn't even on my radar.
When I was researching everything to do it, just looking for other interesting facts, when that came up, I was like, that's a bit of a curveball. I would not have thought. Now,
Flor de las Antillas getting an 80. I mean, all right. Love the guys at Half Wheel. They're great information. I don't obviously agree with all of their reviews.
To be fair, this was their original 2012 review of the Toro. Okay. They may have had a redux on it. I did not see that. You know, sometimes Siskel and Ebert would go back and redo a movie that they called trash, and then got to see it again.
You know,
but it is the Flor de las Antillas.
You know, it should have jumped out a little bit quicker, but the 82 threw me for a real loop.
I thought it would. That's why I threw it in the middle there. It would maybe throw you off the scent of it.
Yeah, no, it definitely did because, I mean, that cigar, for what it's worth, is still one of our best sellers. I mean, we sell the absolute snot out of that cigar. Obviously, we like My Father's Tobacco here. We're smoking it. I don't like the Maduro as much. That's a fun fact for you.
I don't either, actually.
I'd rather smoke the original sun-grown.
Now, do you consider it soft box press the way I do it? Because I don't feel like it's as crisp of a box press as you see when you think box press?
So when I think of hard box press, I think of Plasencia.
Right.
I think of New World Maduro.
Yep.
Like obviously Padron anniversaries. Those things are
almost have sharp edges on them.
Correct. Yeah. So I'm with you there. But wow, I can't believe they gave it an 82. That is crazy.
Listen, we all have misses.
Yeah.
I thought when Josh Allen was going to get drafted, he was going to be trash.
That's tough.
It is tough. I thought Josh Rosen was going to be the guy.
That's also tough. Well, that's okay. I drafted Blake Corum this year because somebody named Jason Tipton told me he was going to be good, and he hasn't done anything. So.
Listen, you got a lot of time. You got a lot of time left. What are you excited for coming up, cigar-wise?
So coming up, we've got Tatawahe Monster release, Wolfman this year. The Monster Smash was fantastic. The Wolfman has in the past not been my favorite, but was one of my favorites in the Smash. So I'm excited to smoke it in the full size. I think it's going to be really good. The Sumatran wrapper that they're using this year seems like it's really good. So that's great. Don't know when it's coming, but AJ Fernandez's 20th anniversary cigar, going to be awesome. The one that personally I'm most excited for, though, has got to be Aganorsa's 25th anniversary.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, given, especially now with everything that's happening at the docks and, all that kind of stuff, they already didn't know when it was going to get here. Now we really don't know when it's going to get here. So, there's a chance that we may not see it this year, but I'm okay with that because I'd rather them get it right than rush it.
Oh, certainly. Yeah.
So that is what I'm most excited for. I've seen some behind the scenes pictures of packaging and everything.
Oh, did you? I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it looks good.
Looks good.
They're using the box factory that makes the Bahique boxes to make their boxes for this.
Okay.
So they're going to be top notch. The price point on it's going to be a little bit higher from what I've been told, but that's not confirmed, so I don't want to put that out there yet, obviously. But I'm really excited for that. And then shout out to my man Kyle at Warped. He's always putting out great stuff.
Yeah.
He's got a couple new things coming out this year that I don't know what the names of them are, but we've kind of been talking about them, and I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, we had La
too.
Colmena 10th last week.
Fantastic cigar.
Awesome cigar.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be, like you said, there's a whole host of factors that go into when these things actually arrive. I don't know if you mentioned the LFD anniversary and stuff like that.
I'm tempering expectations.
So
with that.
We get into those things, and you get into it for a guy who's, you're spending your time in the humidor, in the lounge, behind the counter. You have to temper those expectations with customers, right? They see something on, any different website. We're going to bring up the guys from Half Wheel again, but they do a great job of reporting on those things. So they see those things there. Whether or not there's truth to anything or they take certain things as truth, they want it now.
Yeah.
They see the article, they assume that sucker's on the shelves.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, just kind of the world we live in right now, that's not always the case.
Yeah, and we say it here all the time, and as tobacconists, when it comes to new stuff coming out, under promise, over deliver. If it gets here sooner than we're expecting, then great, but I don't want to set anybody up looking for something and then they're calling me and thinking that I'm lying to them because it's not here yet. So don't want to have that happen, but we do know that stuff is coming down the pipeline. So it's going to be fun. And then obviously PCA's in March again next year. Going to be April. It's in April. I'm sorry. It's in April next year, but it's going to be in New Orleans.
Yep.
Felt like this PCA was pretty good, but it was a very quick turnaround
with
from
the
the
adjustment
last
in the
PCA.
schedule.
Yep. So I think with a full year in between PCAs, this next PCA, we're going to see a lot of new stuff coming out, and that's going to be really fun. Again, it's another episode, but the one thing I'm curious to see is what pricing looks like on this stuff. All the new cigars coming out, because these companies, cigars aren't made overnight. it takes time to develop a blend, to roll the cigars, get them in the production line. Then you have to age them. You have to get the boxes made, the bands made. Most companies aren't doing that themselves. So there's a lot that goes into these cigars, and I don't think a 9-month turnaround time from one PCA to the next PCA was enough time. Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't a bit of an influx next year for what may be coming.
Yeah, because you've got a full year cycle since the last one, the normal gap between the two. Yeah. Right, to give retailers and manufacturers an idea of what the timeline's going to look like, what manufacturing, what logistically shipping. Obviously, you touched on it. There's the moment we're recording this, there's still a dock strike. Just started yesterday. We don't know how long that's going to last. I haven't got to see it. May be done now, and it may stretch out for weeks to months. And if that's the case, that just not only the logistics and delivery of cigars, it's going to affect everything you touch in your life. We all know that our favorite Amazon products are not made, unfortunately.
God forbid we don't have another toilet paper COVID crisis.
I have enough toilet paper in my house due to my wife's subscription to a certain company that...
Is that bamboo toilet paper?
It's the bamboo toilet paper that I've got you covered if this happens.
I appreciate that. My wife decided to Instacart Sam's Club yesterday morning, so I walked outside to take the dog out, and I had 2 very large packs of toilet paper and 2 very large bags of paper towels outside. And she's like, "Oh, they're for my mom." I was like,
preparation.
Right.
Prepper.
So, I'd rather have than not.
She's a prepper, just in a different fashion. It's not guns and ammo. It's toilet paper and paper towels.
Yeah.
Which in reality,
I appreciate that.
In a lot of instances, I'd rather have the, if we're in a shortage,
we can barter with
I'm
that.
not going to give up coffee, so I'm still going to need the toilet paper.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
We'll just bring it all here, and then we'll barter with booze and tobacco and toilet paper.
That's right. That's right. Yeah,
it's the essentials in life.
You could bring in a 12-pack of toilet paper. You might walk out with a bundle of cigars. They may be of equal value by that time.
We need super soft here.
I did want to touch on something you mentioned because you talked about Wolfman coming in. So I don't know when anybody's going to hear this podcast yet. We have to get it up. This is our first one. So, anybody listening to this in the future, please be patient with us. We're going to get better at this. I was a little nervous doing it. I was excited about us doing it, but it takes a little time and practice to get used to talking in the microphone and talking like you're talking to others, but talking to each other, right?
That's some Matrix stuff right there.
That's right. That's right. That is the Matrix. But so we're recording this October 2nd. We're getting the Wolfman cigars in this week, and credit to you, it was a great idea. So if you are hearing this in the month of October, for the entire month of October, we're going to have at least one, but we believe 2 numbered Wolfman boxes. And we're going to sell raffle tickets, $5 a piece. And we're going to do that for the entire month of October. And at the end of October, we're going to raffle those boxes off. And all the proceeds from the raffle tickets we sell are going to go to a charitable organization that we believe in and trust that can provide relief for Western North Carolina. Obviously, we're based here in North Carolina. The storms that moved through at the end of last week were devastating. We've got friends in the cigar business who we believe have, maybe at total losses in some instances. So anything anybody can do, no matter how small it is, I think is a really good thing. And people are strapped for money at all levels of life. So, even if it's $1 or you're buying just one $5 raffle ticket, it's very appreciated. So, we've reached out to Tatawahe and got some response back. We're going to do that. So if you are hearing this in October, the entire month, it'll be on our website, thepipeandpint.net. You'll be able to buy raffle tickets through there, be able to buy raffle tickets at any of our stores, get a chance to win either of those numbered boxes, and obviously it goes to a great cause.
Yeah, and if for some reason, you can't afford it, no problem. Just tell somebody else about it. If you can't afford it, share it. If you know of anybody else or any other organizations that are doing something for this, tell people about it. Tell people where they can drop stuff off at. Tell people what it is that others need, because the devastation is biblical, apocalyptic. Whatever word you want to put to it.
And I mean, there's unfortunately the reality is there's not any one word that really describes it.
No,
I mean the imagery. I think everybody's seen at this point. It's terrible.
Yeah, Yeah. So we want to do our part, and we appreciate Tatawahe for helping us with this, and our customers especially, because we have really generous customers. So I'm thinking we're going to be able to raise some good amount of money to help these people out.
Yeah. So get on the website, buy those tickets. Again, we'll do it at the end of October. This was a good time, man.
Yeah.
Excited. We got the first one in the
Yeah,
books.
we got it done.
Yeah.
Before we finish, Wise Man, any more thoughts on it?
It's great.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you're looking for the punch, the spice of my father, that's not what you're going to get out of that. But I don't think that was ever an intention.
Yeah.
But it stays clean the entire way through. It's smooth. It's creamy. It's excellent.
Yeah, I think the best word for it is approachable.
Oh, absolutely.
It is approachable for anybody out there. So if you hadn't tried it, if you're our customer, they're available at all 5 of our locations. If you're not one of our customers, ask your local retailer about Foundation. If they don't have it, it's a great brand to carry.
Get it on our website, too.
Yeah, you can also get it on the
visit the
website.
website, baby.
www.thepipeandpint.net.
That's right. All right. Well, we're going to do it again soon. We'll hopefully got some great topics. Hopefully got some great guests. We're talking to some people already. So we'll see you next time.
Until next time.